All right, you all. So I really apologize for that. The phone experienced some real serious technical difficulties right at that moment. So, or the computer rather. So now I'm on my phone. It is what it is. The word must go forth. So we gonna keep it moving. We left off at verse 21. And verse 21 it says, and Terah said to his son, behold, these are they which made all thou seest upon the earth, and which created me and thee and all mankind. So remember, we were talking about Abram went to his father's house and saw all those idol gods inside of his father's house. So he went to go talk to his father about all those little idol gods that was in his house and asked him, he asked him a question. He said, hey, where's the God that created the heavens and the earth and all that's in it, and even me and you, right? And so Terah took his son to the house and said, these are the gods that created us, all that you see. And so now that's where we just picked up at. So it says in verse 22, and Terah bowed down to his gods, and he then went away from them. And Abram, his son, went away with him. I can imagine the anger. I can imagine. He says, and when Abram had gone from them, he went to his mother and sat before her. And he said to his mother, behold, my father has shown me those who made heaven and earth and all the sons of men. Now, therefore, hasten and fetch a kid from the flock and make it a savory meat, that I may bring it to my father's gods as an offering for them to eat. Perhaps I may thereby become acceptable to them. Now, at this point, I don't know if he was being sarcastic or if he was being serious, because pretty sure he know those aren't the gods. But we're gonna keep watching. We're gonna keep reading to find out. He said in verse 25, and his mother did so, and she fetched a kid and made savory meat thereof and brought it to Abraham, or no, I'm sorry, to Abram. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods. And he drew nigh to them that they might eat. And Terah, his father, did not know of it. And Abraham, I'm sorry, I keep on to call him Abraham because that's what because that's his name ultimately going to be. So I apologize. And Abram saw on the day when he was sitting amongst them that they had no voice, no hearing, no motion, and not one of them could stretch forth his hand to eat. And Abram mocked them and said, surely the savory meat that I prepared has not pleased them, or perhaps it was too little for them. And for that reason, they would not eat. Therefore, tomorrow I will prepare fresh savory meat, better and more plentiful than this, in order that I may see the result. Verse 28 says, and it was on the next day that Abram directed his mother concerning the savory meat, and his mother rose and fetched three fine kids from the flock, and she made of them some excellent savory meat, such as her son was fond of, and she gave it to her son Abram. And Terah, his father, did not know of it. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came nigh unto them that they might eat. And he placed it before them. And Abram sat before them all day, thinking perhaps they might eat. And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor hearing, nor did one of them stretch forth his hand to meet the meat. Hold up. Nor did one of them stretch forth his hand to the meat to eat. And in the evening of that day, in that house, Abram was clothed with the Spirit of God. Verse 32. And he called out and said, woe unto my father and his wicked generation, whose hearts are all inclined to vanity, who serve these idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, hear, nor speak, who have mouths without speech, eyes without sight, ears without hearing, hands without feeling, legs which cannot move, like them at those that made them and that trust in them. And when Abram saw all these things, his anger was kindled against his father. And he hastened and took a hatchet in his hand, and he came into the chamber of the gods, and he broke all his father's gods. Now check this out. I imagine what his father said when he came in there and saw that all his gods was broke up. They couldn't even defend themselves, girl. They couldn't even defend themselves. Can you imagine? They supposed to be God and they can't defend themselves against somebody who came and destroyed them. But moving on along, we're going to just keep reading. Verse 34 says, and when he had done breaking the images, he placed the hatchet in the hand of the great God, which was there before them, and he went out. And Terah, his father, came home, for he had heard at the door the sound of striking of the hatchet. So Terah came into the house to know what this was about. And Terah, having heard the noise of the hatchet in the room of images, ran to the room to the images, and he met Abram going out. And Terah entered the room. And Terah entered the room and found all the idols fallen down and broken, and a hatchet in the hand of the largest, which was not broken. And savory meat which Abram his son had made was still before them. And when Terah saw this, his anger was greatly kindled, and he hastened and went from the room to Abram. Verse 38 says, and he found Abram his son still sitting in the house, and he said to him, what is this work thou hast done to my gods? Abram said, I ain't running. Yeah, I did it. I did it. Yeah. And verse 39 says, and Abram answered Terah, his father, and he said, not so, my lord, for I brought savory meat before them. And when I came nigh to them with the meat that they might eat, they all at once stretched forth their hands to eat before the great one had put forth his hand to eat. Now why he lied? He said in verse 40, and the large one saw their works that they did before him, and his anger was violently kindled against them. And he went and took the hatchet that was in the house and came to them and broke them all. And behold, the hatchet is yet in his hand as thou seest. Now, I'm pretty sure I know why Abram did that, because he wanted his father to see how ridiculous that story sounds. And I bet his father knows how ridiculous that story sounds, because his father already knows that these guys can't do nothing. They are inanimate objects. They can't move. They can't talk. They can't speak. They can't do nothing. And so I'm just, let's just keep reading. Let's just see. And he said in 41, and Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abram when he spoke this. And Terah said to Abram, his son, in his anger. Matter of fact, before we go back to that, you remember how Terah came up with this wise remark when he was confronted by the king to kill his son? Because it was such a ridiculous thing for him to ask, and he had to come up with something to make the king see how ridiculous that was. And the king, once he realized what had took place, he was then angered with Terah. That's the same thing Abram just did to his father. He said something so ridiculous that his father had to realize how stupid it sounded. You know what I mean? But let's keep reading on to see. And Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abram when he spoke this. And Terah said to Abram his son in anger, what is this tale that thou hast told? Thou speakest lies to me. Wait. So he know that his son is lying. which means he ultimately know that these aren't gods. He knew that these wasn't gods. So listen, this here, let's just keep reading. He said, is there in these gods spirit, soul, or power to do all thou hast told me? Wait. Terah just asked his son. He said, is there in these gods a spirit, soul, or power to do all that thou hast told me? Now, come on, Terah already know that these guys can't do it, so how are they gods? That's the whole point his son was trying to prove. They're not gods. He said, are they not wood and stone? And have I not myself made them? And canst thou speak such lies, saying that the large God that was with them smote them? It is thou that didst place the hatchet in his hands, and then sayest he smote them all. Now, mind you, his son asked him previously, who is the God that created the heavens, the earth, and him and he said me and you, basically. And Terah said, let's go to the room so we can see the God that created all of this that you see. Now, mind you, if the God that he took him to go see created all the things that we see, how come that he couldn't destroy the other gods? You want to know why? Because Terah just admitted out his mouth that they were made of wood and stone by his own hands. So I'm just saying, like, he already knew that these guys couldn't do nothing. So why would he lie to his son in the beginning, talking about, oh yeah, these guys here created everything? What? What do you mean? You already know you lying. So his son just made him admit to his own lie by lying, basically. I never heard of the elf on the shelf concept, but maybe one time you can explain that to me at some point. So yeah. So then he says in verse 43, he says, and Abram answered his father and said to him, and how canst thou then serve these idols in whom there is no power to do anything? That's what Abraham said. He said, then how can you serve these guys that don't got no power to do nothing? And he said, can those idols in which thou trusted deliver thee? Can they hear thy prayers when thou callest upon them? Can they deliver thee from the hands of thy enemies? Or will they fight the battles for thee against thy enemies? That thou shouldest serve wood and stone, which can neither speak nor hear? Abram said they couldn't even save themselves. How they gonna save you? And then he said, now surely it is not good for thee, nor for the sons of men that are connected with thee, to do these things. Are you so silly? Oh, this is what he told his daddy, girl. Look at what he told his daddy. He said, are you so silly, so foolish, or so short of understanding? Girl, no, he did. And he just went in on his dad. He said, are you so silly, so foolish, and so short of understanding that you will serve wood and stone and do after this manner? Girl, he just called his. Did you just hear what he said? He just went in on his dad, okay? I bet his dad had the yoke face at this point. Like, hold up, what? Did he just say that to me? To me? Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. Right, wear the belt. I see how it is. Oh, okay. See what his daddy had to say. Did not our father? No. Oh, Abraham's still talking, girl. Wait a minute. Abraham's still talking. He said, did not our fathers in those in the days of old sin in this matter? And the Lord God of the universe brought the waters of the flood upon them and destroyed the whole earth? He says, and how can you continue to do this and serve gods of wood and stone, who cannot hear or speak or deliver you from oppression, thereby bringing down the anger of the God of the universe upon you? He says, now therefore, my father, refrain from this, and bring not evil upon thy souls and the souls of thy household. Mm. He says, and Abram hastened and sprang from before his father and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol with which Abraham broke it and ran away. What he broke? Hold up. It says, and Abram hastened and sprang from before his father and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol with which Abram broke it and ran away. Oh, he broke the last idol, girl, in front of his daddy. And then he ran away. he, he took that. He said, now this is going to probably make him real mad with me at this point. Let me go ahead and break it and run. Break free. He made like eggs and broke fast. Woo! Verse 50. And Terah, seeing all that Abram had done, hastened to go from his house. Yeah, proving a point, right? He said, and Terah, seeing all that Abram had done, hastened to go from his house, and he went to the king, and he came before Nimrod. Girl, look. Now, look, check this out right here. He's so mad at his son, he went before the king. I ain't gonna tell y'all what the rest of that story gonna end up like because I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm gonna just let you hear it for yourself. But check this out. He was so mad at his son, he went to the king. And let me tell you what he told the king. He said, let me just read it over. And Terah, seeing all that Abram had done, hastened to go from his house. And he went to the king, and he came before Nimrod and stood before him. And he bowed down to the king. And the king said, what doest thou want? The king asked him, what you want? And he said, I beseech thee, my Lord, to hear me. Now, 50 years back, a child was born to me. Now, he finna snitch on himself. Look, he finna snitch on himself, Canethian. He don't even realize he's so mad, he about to snitch on himself. He about to snitch on himself because he that mad at his son. Let's just keep going, though. He said, now 50 years back, a child was born to me, and thus has he done to my gods, and thus has he spoken, and now therefore, my Lord and King, send for him that he may come before thee and judge him according to the law, that we may be delivered from his evil. Now he don't realize he just told the king. Right. He don't realize he just told the king, I basically lied to you 50 years ago when you told me let me kill this baby and you paid me to kill my baby, but I didn't give you my baby. I gave you somebody else's baby basically because my baby's still alive and he came back to do exactly what your wise man told you that he was going to do, and now he done it to my house, and I'm trying to tell you now, can you judge him? What you mean can you judge him? You mean at this point, just watch this. Verse 52. And the king sent 3 men of his servants, and they went and brought Abram before the king. Watch this. And Nimrod and all his princes and servants were that day sitting before him, and Terah sat also before them. Because look, Terah thinking, yeah, now you about to get destroyed. Watch this. Yeah, watch this. Right? I tell you, boy, it be your own family. Verse 53. It says, and the king said to Abram, what is that? What is this that thou hast done to thy father and to his gods? And Abram answered the king in the words that he spoke to his father, and he said, the large God that was... Listen to this. He said, the large God that was with them in the house did to them what thou hast heard. The large God in the house did this. That's what he said. And the king said to Abram, had they power to speak and eat and do as thou hast said? And Abram answered the king, saying, and if there be no... Look, watch this. Ooh, watch what Abraham going to say. And if there be... And Abraham answered the king and said, and if there be no power in them, why doest thou serve them and cause the sons of men to error through thy follies? drop the mic. That's a drop the mic moment right there. Abram had the first drop the mic moment. If you would ever call something a drop the mic moment, Abram, he had it right then, right then. He said what he had to say and he dropped the mic because he could literally drop the mic right then and there. Because the egg face was right on Pharaoh. It was there. Okay. The egg face is on his daddy. But to put the egg face on the Pharaoh, that's egg face, girl. That's egg face all day long. Drop the mic. Okay. But let's keep reading. Right. Snap the fingers. Right. What I say, clock it. Clock it. Okay. He clocked it. And he said, girl, he kept going. What's this? He could have dropped the mic right at that one moment. But he kept going, girl. He said, doest thou imagine that they can deliver thee or do anything small or great, that thou shouldest serve them? And why wilt thou not sense the God of the whole universe, who created thee and in whose power it is to kill and keep alive? Oh, foolish, simple, and ignorant king. Oh, girl, he called the king ignorant. Why he called the king ignorant? You heard that? He called king ignorant. He said, oh, foolish, simple, and ignorant king, woe unto thee forever. I thought thou wouldest teach thy servants the upright way, but thou hast not done this, but hast filled the whole earth with thy sins and the sins of thy people who have followed thy ways. Girl, Abram was getting in on these people. Girl, he was going in. He talked to the king. He could have got done in right then and there. But God's grace is sufficient, girl. Because Abraham clearly was alive. He clearly lived to tell the story. Clearly. So, verse 58. Right. He said, doest thou not know? Oh, he keep on talking. After he said all of that, he's still talking. Girl, he said, doest thou not know, or hast thou not heard, that this evil which thou doest, our ancestors sinned therein in days of old, and the eternal God brought the waters of the flood upon them and destroyed them all, and also destroyed the whole earth on their account? And wilt thou and thy people rise up now and do like unto this work, in order to bring down the anger of the Lord of the universe, and to bring evil upon thee and the whole earth? Now therefore, I love this part. He says, now therefore, put away this evil deed which thou doest, and serve the God of the universe, and thy soul is in his hands, and then it will be well with thee. And if thy wicked heart will not hearken to my words, to cause thee to forsake thy evil ways and to serve the eternal God, then wilt thou die in shame in the latter days, thou, thy people, and all who are connected with thee, hearing thy words or walking in thy evil ways. And when Abram had ceased speaking before the king and princes, Abram lifted up his eyes to the heavens, and he said, the Lord seeth all the wicked, and he will judge them. That is the conclusion of episode 11 as of today. Listen, as much as I want to finish reading, honey, because have you ever wanted to binge watch a TV show? Because the episode that you just got done watching was so good, you wanted to go to the next one. And so you proceed to go to the next one. But see, we can't even go to the next one because this next episode got 70 whole lines in it, and we ain't going to be able to read all 70. So you know me, I can't start it unless I'm finish it. So that being said, you got to wait until tomorrow to get the conclusion of that conversation. Because, girl, it got juicy, let me tell you. Because I already read it. It got juicy, okay? It got juicy. Oh, it got juicy. What God, it got juicy. Let me just tell you that. It got juicy. You got to be here to see it, okay? This is an episode that you just cannot miss, okay? You got to be here. Be here or be square. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear me? You gotta be here. You gotta be here to see this. Girl, let me tell y'all, if y'all have not already hit the like button right now. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the share button. Everybody got to see this. Everybody got to see this. I'm trying to tell you. If you ain't here, you ain't nowhere, okay? These episodes here is getting real. Let me tell you. You never knew the Bible was so full of jam-packed action, did you? Order your copy today. It's called the Book of Jasher. Jasher. It's called the Book of Jasher. This book is mentioned in the Bible twice. Once in First Samuel and once in Joshua chapter 10. Listen, this book is legit. Have you not read these same stories in the Bible? Except this one here goes into so much detail. Oh, it goes into so much detail. This is why they didn't want you to read about it, because, baby, the details is juicy. Do you hear me? Baby, the details is detailing. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? The details are detailing up in here. They are telling the tales up in here, okay? So, if you haven't already done so, I'm telling you now, you don't want to miss these episodes. These episodes is real. They about to go down, okay? It's about to go down. It's about to go down up in here. Let me tell you, hit the subscribe button so that you can hear the rest of this story. Maybe this is better than Netflix. Okay? This is better than Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, all that. I know you on YouTube right now watching this, but it's okay. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the follow button. And you will not regret this. You won't regret this. I'm telling you, okay? All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.